Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. You guys know what time it is? Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And for those of you who like these kind of videos, please remember to click like down below. And I've had a number of people aware of me, actually quite a few people in the last day. They have linked me a video saying, Jason, Jeff Cavalier, aka Athlean-X, aka Curl-Lean-X said that skinny noobs need to do loaded carries every single day. What do you think about this? What do I think about it? Rather than make it about Jeff or everything that he said, what do I think about the idea itself? Actually, I don't think it's a bad idea. All right? I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Actually, I think it's a pretty good idea. I don't think it's unreasonable. Yeah, there we go. So the people who are going to jump in who are fangirls of Jeff, they jump in. They get so upset when you say anything critical, remotely critical about him. In this case, I'm actually going to agree. I don't think it's a bad idea. In fact, I could get behind the idea. In fact, I have quite a few of my own clients do loaded carries with a pretty high frequency as part of their training. So it's not unwarranted, and it kind of falls back under the area of general physical preparedness. Now, the idea with GPP work, here's what I would say to a lot of people. Getting a noob lifter doing a lot of GPP work actually can cut down on the amount of exercise selection you would even need to consider for them early on. And what I mean is that loaded carries are one example of general physical preparedness. Right, that's one example. So if they were doing a variety of loaded carries, right, they're doing sled drags, prowler pushes, tire flips, right, general physical preparedness exercises, also known as GPP. It's actually a lot easier to stack size and strength on a novice lifter. It's a lot easier to do that with less total time and actually exercise selection under a barbell. In other words, I could comfortably have a new lifter do 3, 4, 5 lifts every week of actual real lifts with a bunch of GPP work, and I would be just fine using that to build their base. We wouldn't need as much exercise selection if they programmed it right. The problem is not everyone has access to everything they need. And when we talk about these loaded carries, he might be promoting doing them a little bit lighter than I might recommend, other than maybe the first month someone's in the gym. Now, a lot of people would say, well, what about skinny people who aren't noobs or novice lifters? Well, if you're skinny, you're still a novice lifter. All right, skinny guys are still novice lifters. Like Jesse is still a novice lifter. In other words, I could take someone like Jesse and go put him on a late novice program for late novices, not even intermediate lifters, and he would still gain muscle and strength on it if he ate enough, because he is still a skinny under-muscled guy who hasn't finished out the noob gains he should have gotten his first year. Okay, and I'm not being mean, I'm not being that critical, I'm just stating reality. And I'm stating that as someone who has clients right now who were maybe late novices who stalled. I've adjusted their own programming, and they are making ridiculous gains immediately. Some of them are making them almost immediately. So it's not as uncommon as you would think, and some of these are people who do have 2 or 3 years of training experience. So again, it does happen. You just have to get them on the right structured programming. So why is it that Jeff said it could be useful? And let's take it over to not just the weighted carry. That's one example. And I'm a big fan of weighted carries and farmer's walks. I'm actually a fan of those as a dominant GPP work. In fact, that's my primary one. Right? I do more of that than anything else for GPP. Okay? These days at least, because I have good farmer's walks handles. I got a good pair from Titan that are small, they're compact, and I can do them in the hallway of my townhouse. Right? I can go up and down the hallway with them and load plates. I can put 150 pounds on each hand and do loaded carries up and down that hallway. Using my training plates, so they're rubberized, so they hopefully won't damage the floor too bad if one slips. But he had essentially said is that one of the problems that skinny guys have is that they are underweight and they are under-muscled. Well, that's true. And that's one of the things I've told a lot of people is that someone who is overweight and they're fatter and thicker, they're heftier, and you go put them under a barbell, they're going to gain muscle faster. In fact, if you have somebody who's maybe 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, they're fat, and you go start them as a noob in the gym and put them on a basic routine, you can put them on a caloric deficit, and as long as you keep their protein high, they will gain muscle and strength just as fast as a skitty noob does who dreamer bulks. And anyone who's worked with lifters knows this. People who start off really fat gain muscle stupidly fast. They gain muscle stupidly fast. That guy is usually deadlifting 350 pounds within a few months of walking in the gym. That guy's squatting 315 for reps in less than 6 months. That guy's benching over 200 for reps within 6 months of walking in the gym. With good training the majority of the time. Why? Because they already bulked. In other words, they've already built a reserve. They carry a lot of muscle through their whole core. All that food they ate was anabolic. They carry a lot of extra body weight. Things like their hips, their abs, their back. A lot of these areas carry a lot more muscle structure. They have a much more well-developed support structure, and they have energy reserves to draw from that doesn't require them to eat a surplus of calories to make gains. They already have the anabolic substances you need there in their body fat. They have an energy reserve. You just have to knock enough protein into them and get them on a proper training, and they will gain muscle like crazy even while losing weight. The skinny guy not only has to eat the food to catch up that the fat guy started with, but he doesn't have the muscle base. He, number one, hasn't eaten all that food that gave him an anabolic response throughout his body. He doesn't have the same bone density. He doesn't have the same core musculature. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, someone who has put on 40 or 50 pounds of body fat through overeating, who gets up and has to walk around, their core, their abs, their erectors, all of those muscles through their body, through their trunk, are fighting against a lot more forces than a skinny guy. They have months, if not years, of actual muscle accumulation as a result of that. They have a more stable platform. It's easier to get them under a squat bar or get them on pulling on a deadlift bar and just excel at it because they've already built up trunk mass, and a lot of it's lean mass. Their connective tissue and bones are stronger from carrying the extra body weight around for years. It matters. The skinny guy doesn't have that advantage. And so what he's essentially suggesting is that you play catch up with their non-lifting activity, because moderate weighted carries will give you a training response without really hitting your recovery that badly. Meaning you could do 20 minutes of weighted carries and it is not going to tax you the same way that an actual barbell squat session will. It'll tax you, but not like doing 5 sets of barbell squats, not like doing 2 or 3 sets of heavy deadlifts will. Not even remotely close in terms of your overall systematic recovery. And it'll give you a nice training response. And it'll help build their grip up. It'll help build their traps up in that upper back area that they can put a barbell on. That's what he mentioned. It helps build the shelf to you have back there to do squats with. It will help directly carry over to their deadlift because they're walking around with a weighted carry. It'll improve their grip. It'll make their core stronger. It'll make their hips stronger. It will get them into better shape because GPP work has a conditioning component. And if you get into better shape, you have a higher work capacity, right? And this is true of everybody. I don't care whether you're novice, intermediate, advanced, fat, skinny. If you have a higher work capacity, you are in better shape. And if you are in better shape, notice that it doesn't even matter how fat you are. We're talking about, are you in better shape? Condition. Nothing to do with how you look. If you are more conditioned, you can handle more training volume. You can recover from more training volume. And if you can recover from more training volume, we can do more training, stimulate more gains, and you recover from it. All right, that's a good thing. It's beneficial. So when you look at it from that perspective, I'm going to say he's right. And I'm not saying the weighted carry is the be-all, end-all for that. You could get a lot of similar response doing some of the other stuff. But the idea is the same, and it's easy to get weighted carries. It's easier to find stuff to do a weighted carry with than it is to find a tire to flip or sleds to drag. I mean, that combination would do it too. You flip tires and drag sleds, that'll help. But with weighted carries, you can use trap bars. You can use dedicated farmer's walk handles like I have, but I have a trap bar too. You can use kettlebells, you can use dumbbells, you can use plates, again, if they have the handles. You can even get handles to carry the plates with. Right, you can sling straps through a couple of plates and carry those plates around if you don't even have handles. Like literally, you can go get some ratchet canvas straps and get handles to strap to them. You can just make your own and carry it in your gym bag. You do it right there at the gym with the 45s. So you've got a lot of options there. It's very versatile, and I think that's the term that I did hear Jeff use it. It's versatile. I'm going to agree. So this is one of those cases where people are like, man, Jeff said this. I don't know about this. What do you think about this? Because I'm one of those, I'll be honest. If Jeff says something stupid or wrong, I will call him on it. I will. I'm not afraid to, unlike a lot of other people. I'll call him on it. In this case, I think what he said was smart. I agree with it. I think it's actually a good idea. Like, I have nothing critical to say about this video. It was a good point. I actually agree with his points there, and that's all there is to it. I think it's perfectly reasonable. And I think it would work if they eat enough protein and calories to compensate for the extra workload. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.